Hey lollies, this is Kal-Chan from the Anime HQ. I am here today with Energy Senpai and we are going to be doing a review on SAO. So as you may know by now, I, like many others, have a strong dislike as so not to anger those fanboys slash grills out there for SAO.
But Kal-Chan, SAO is obviously a deconstruction of the video game genre and how we're all prisoners to America.
On the contrary, fanboy slash grill, it's neither a deconstruction nor are we actually prisoners of America. SAO is a show surrounded by an immense amount of controversy given by its fan base and those who hate the show. Today we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of one of the most talked about among a majority of anime watchers, both new and experienced alike, Sword Art Online.
SAO is the greatest anime in existence because of its theme exploration and deep symbolism. I can't tell you how many times I cried over the incredible drama.
Do I really have to explain this to you? First off, the premise of SAO isn't even the first of its kind. It takes its major ideas from Dot Hack Sign and many other shows of that genre, and in most cases it was done better in those said shows. It even tries to portray death as a relevant theme and proceeds to forego it after the midway point of the show. The idea of death actually mattering was forgotten, making the whole idea seem sort of counterproductive.
But let's not forget the pacing is the best in any anime ever, skipping all relevant things like development, boss fights, and romance progression, etc.
You know, this is the first time you've actually been right, give or take a few parts. So to elaborate, the pacing was god-awful. The show lasted over a span of 2 years and 14 episodes. Sometimes in between episodes, the show even takes around a 60-floor time skip. 80% of the romance progression is even skipped through these time skips, and the relationship between Kirito and Asuna feels really cookie-cutter and it lacks any sort of emotional depth.
But Kal-Chan, don't forget the amazing slice-of-life moments like the episodes where Kirito and Asuna go fishing.
Don't you mean the filler episodes where time basically stands still and that doesn't progress the story in any way whatsoever? This show is filled with countless filler episodes making the pacing go from extremely fast to extremely slow. And don't mention the tone shifts go from completely dark to light-hearted in the matter of an episode.
What about Alfheim, Kal-Chan? It's the best arc in existence.
You mean the tentacle rape arc? Considering that was the only thing I can even remember about that arc, I can't say much on its behalf. So let's just end the discussion before it starts by saying that Alfheim was basically irrelevant, taking away the main theme of death actually mattering and even adding some slight incest undertones. So in the end, SAO's story is like an STD. You watch it, hate it, and it just never goes away. The plot was also taken from other shows from its type and was outclassed by most of these shows. The inconsistent pacing and time skips forego meaningful story points and romance progression, and it even has meaningless filler episodes and a second arc that was the equivalent to washing my eyes with bleach. There are no redeeming factors to the story whatsoever.
The characters in the show are amazing, Kal-Chan. The cast is filled with adorable moe blobs crying over Bako and Ichans, and the amount of senpai noticing is off the charts. Great.
Wait, what? I'm just gonna disregard the part about the Bako Nichan and the amount of senpai noticing. Characters in SAO are something to be desired, except for Yui, who is absolutely adorable, being the only redeeming factor about the characters of SAO. Kirito, otherwise known as Jesus-kun, has so much plot armor, he most likely had to kill a really high-level boss to even get said plot armor. He is just so completely strong that he defiles the whole theme of dying in the game and in real life. And don't even get me started on his nickname.
Next time, Peter.
I don't even want to talk about that. Kirito's plot armor goes so far as to him being attacked by 7 people and not even losing 1 point of health. He also gains the dual wield skill, which supposedly no one else has. Wait a minute. If Kirito is the only one who has this ability, why does that guy in the back have 2 axes? Anyway, I'll just ignore that. On to our first Kirito Save Me girl, and a member of Kirito's ever-growing harem, Asuna.
OMG, Asuna-chan is my waifu, senpai Oni-chan. She's a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. I ship her and Kirito so hard.
Oh boy, are you kidding? Asuna is the supposed strong female role, but after her first few appearances, she turns into a generic housewife slash damsel in distress character. And in the second arc, the one we don't actually talk about, she becomes completely useless, adding no real progress to the story, besides being yet another person to Kirito and his overpowered self that he has to save. She is hot though, so, you know, that's excellent character development, am I right?
But there are also other characters that are great, Kal-Chan, like Lisbeth the blacksmith and the dragon lolly Silica. And let's not forget Best Girl Sashi.
You mean the characters that show up for basically one episode and really only have one defining trait and proceed to become completely irrelevant after the fact? Let's be honest here, the amount of characters that actually play a major role can be counted on one finger, and that being Yui being adorable as always. All the side characters are no more than cardboard cutouts in a standard archetype of anime characters. There are no standouts at all among the cast other than Yui, who again is adorable. So there is someone we are forgetting. I wonder why we forgot him!
なぜか。私も長い間忘れていたよ。
But you can't forget about the 10 out of 10 art with its exploration of color theory and art construct. It really brings out the life in the scenery and fight scenes that make even Vin Diesel tear up in sheer amazingness and epicosity.
Now, Energy Senpai, if you were actually looking at the details of the art, you would realize that even the first episode that there were 12 or so copy-pasted faces on different characters. Now, I can't argue that a lot of the action scenes were actually really fluid, but I can argue that in between the action scenes, there were quite a lot of still frames because they were just too lazy to even animate anything.
The character designs were Segoya's fudge though, Kalo-chan.
The character designs of the more important characters, if you can call them that, were actually really well done, I agree, but the majority of background characters were poorly done most of the time. I feel the artist did a fairly good job though on most of the character designs, especially Yui, who is still adorable.
The sound for SAO is literally music to my ears, Kalo-chan. It's so great.
Honestly, I would actually agree with you. I don't personally think there's a part of the soundtrack that I truly dislike. Some tracks, you know, although being more forgettable than others, the overall soundtrack was good. The openings and endings were always an enjoyable listen, and it needs more Yui because, well, she's adorable. Why couldn't she have sang the opening? It would have been 10 times better. I swear it would have been the best opening of all time in existence. Overall, SAO is pretty much a train wreck, but in the right state of mind, you can enjoy it for what it is. It has some pretty decent action scenes and actually a decent soundtrack. What the fudge, voice? But with horrible pacing and shallow characters, if you take the show at more than anything other than face value, you are sure to be disappointed.
SAO, I love you, marry me, Asuna-chan, my Segoyo Ni-chan!
It's a